name is Jamie Melendez. I'm Director of Veteran Services for the City of Lawrence. And I'd like to welcome everyone on behalf of Mayor Rivera, the Lawrence City Council, to today's dedication to Private Frank Elecno. At this time, if I could just get your attention, we're going to post the colors. Colors, post. If you would, bear with me. I'd like to take a moment to have a moment of silence on behalf of, to remember all of those people being affected by Hurricane Harvey and Irma. Thank you. If I could have Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez come on up, he will help me lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join along to kick off the ceremony. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, Councilor. This morning, we are privileged to have with us the Community Day Charter School from Prospect Hill. They're going to kick off the ceremony of the dedication with America's Beautiful. Please, a round of applause. Great job, guys. Our city's youth doing great things. Thank you. Again, I just want to say briefly and thank Council Vice President Mark LaPlante, whose vision, leadership, dedication, and commitment were essential in making this happen today. Today's September 2017. September 1917, Private Elecno was deploying to World War I out of Hoboken, New Jersey. So if you could imagine, for any of those that understand what it's like to go into harm's way, the thoughts that might have been going through his head at the time, getting ready to deploy over to Europe and fight on behalf of this nation. So I think it is appropriate and ideal that we dedicate this square to Private Elecno on this day, exactly to the date 100 years ago. At this time, I'd like to call up Councilor LaPlante and Councilor Rodriguez. Yes.
Now?
Yes.
You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Take your time.
Frank Elecno, U.S. Army, killed in action, World War I. Councilor LaPlante.
You want to give on 60?
Oh. Again, Councilor Rodriguez.
Today, it's an honor for Lawrence and for all of us to be here because 100 years ago, Mr. Alecnon left Lawrence to fight for this country, and he didn't return home. But today we honoring him and his family on the closest corner to his residence, which is Isabel Melendez Street and Franklin Street. Today we're here because we would like to remember him and his family and be able to pass by this street and read this beautiful sign and remember the honor and the dedication of many from Lawrence that left this beautiful city back then during World War I. I would like to thank Councilor LaPlante, District F Councilor LaPlante, for going to France and leave the Lawrence flags on his grave. Thank you, and thank you everybody for being here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jamie, for all your work. And I also want to thank Councilor Rodriguez, who co-sponsored this with me. Thank you for working with me. We have a lot of great people here today. Our first responders, our police, and our fire. I want to thank them for what they're doing. I want to thank the Community Charter School and their community strings for playing, and many others of you who are interested. Because let's face it, nobody here knows Frank Elecno, right? We don't know if his family's nearby. He probably didn't have family nearby at this particular point. We don't even know of his family's friends and their friends and their friends who may have gone way back. His ties have somehow not been there because over the course of 100 years, things fray, right? And in this particular case, we don't know who Frank Elecno is, but we're here because of what he did. We're here because of the sacrifice he has, and we're here to remember that there is a Frank Elecno who did great things, and there are many other individuals that have done great things for their country, and today we are celebrating one of them. Fortunately, and I'm seeing out here a representative from Nikki Songas' office, and I really want to thank Ken for being here today, because Ken was one of the guys that helped me started on my way to go to France and helped me on this particular opportunity to learn more about Frank Elecno. But let me tell you a little bit about Frank Elecno, as limited as it is, and let me put some of the pieces of the puzzle together for you. He was born in Russia on April 10th in 1888. He came to the United States in 1907 when he was 19 years old. It was not clear that he wanted to be a United States citizen. According to the way he filled out his draft registration card, he probably came here to get a job for himself, maybe support his family back in Russia. He had an uncle. His uncle's name was Anthony Canopo. Not Elecno, but Canopo. And he was living at Lawrence here at the time. When Frank Elecno was working, when he got a job, he worked down the street over here at the Duck Mill. He worked there for a number of years. And he lived, as Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez says, on this street. Actually, where these buildings are right now at 75 Concord Street, this used to run all the way through, and that's where he used to live when the street ran through. His draft card said he was of a medium build and height, had dark hair and blue eyes. He entered the Army on July 6, 1917, at the age of 29, was assigned to the 23rd Infantry Regiment, 2nd Division, and went to Syracuse, New York for training. And as was mentioned by Jamie Melendez, 100 years ago today, September 7th, 1917, he boarded that ship with many, many others from Lawrence and sailed to France and got there in 13 days, September 20th. When he got there, he continued training. He trained through the winter with his regiment. He trained through there until March 17th, 1918. He was then deployed to the Verdun sector. He lost his life in a skirmish near Verdun. His life was lost on April 21st, 1918 at his place called the Mouget Farm in Senecourt, France. It's about 10 miles south of Verdun. And Verdun, as we all may know from our history books, is a very ancient and historic city. The story is as follows. When he was on patrol with 2 other men, and he attacked a hostile patrol of 7 men. And I'm going to read this from the official records. Although fatally wounded, he continued fighting until the hostile patrol was driven back and the officers commanding it, with a non-commissioned officer, was killed. Although mortally wounded, he carried a message for assistance to a point 200 yards away, unquote. Valuable papers and information were retrieved from the German killed in combat that greatly assisted the Allies. He was posthumously awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, or the DSC. It is the second highest military award in the Army for extraordinary heroism, and you'll see that cross on this sign. His uncle Anthony was presented with Alekno's DSC medal. Alekno died fighting in the United States military as a Russian citizen. I had a chance to visit Alekno's grave back 5 months ago. One of the things that I learned, and I thank Ken and the rest of the folks for helping me with this, one of the things that I learned was that when you have a cross, you would have, if you have some sort of a significant award, whether it's the Medal of Honor or the Distinguished Service Cross, it would be on there. We went to Alekno's grave, we planted the Lawrence flag. He did not have the DSC on that grave. So I said to the superintendent, his name was Dave Bedford, I said, Superintendent Bedford, shouldn't this guy have that? He goes, I'm not sure. I have to look into it. We just can't do this just on your word. I go, fair enough. A month later, on Memorial Day, that morning, France is about 6 hours from time-wise, I got an email. Dave Bedford put on his graveside the DSC on that monument. Frank Alekno's memorial is accurate today because of all the work of those of us around you, the people that have been so supportive of what we're trying to do, and he's been done the right way. One last thing before, and I'm taking way too much, and I do apologize because I'm so excited about this, and I'm excited about all of you being here today. On November 2nd, 1917, the first American deaths of the Great War took place. Since they were the first deaths of that war, there was an unusual amount of attention given to the 3 young servicemen that died. Their last names were Enright, Gresham, and Hay. They were obviously killed in action. French General Joseph Bordeaux made the following comments that I think are fitting for Alekno, and they are powerful to me, since I had the privilege to visit the American cemeteries in France to honor and pay respect to the Lawrence fallen. From General Bordeaux. On behalf of the 18th Division, on behalf of the French Army, on behalf of France, I say goodbye to Private Enright, to Corporal Gresham, and to Private Hay of the American Army. Of their own volition, they left a prosperous and happy country to come here. They knew that the war in Europe was still going on. They knew that the faces fighting for honor, love of country, and civilization were still opposed by forces prepared for a long time, serving the powers of brutal domination, oppression, and barbarism. They knew that efforts were still needed. They generously offered their blood. The death of a humble corporal, these privates take a character of particular grandeur. We all ask that their bodies remain here forever, and we will inscribe on their graves, here lie the first soldiers of the famous Republic of the United States who fell in the fields of France for justice and freedom. Passers-by will stop, and the men of heart who will visit the battlefields of Lorraine will go out of their way to come here to bring to these tombs the tribute of their respect and gratitude. Corporal Gresham, Private Enright, and Private Hay, on behalf of France, I thank you. God receive your souls. Adieu. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. That was awesome. I'll tell you what, truly inspiring. If anyone can understand the sacrifices that we all give in our service, it's like the saying goes, you know, some gave all, but all gave some. Frank Elecno gave all. With that said, I'd like to call back up the Community Charter Day from Prospect Hill for a final tribute. Thank you. Nicely done, nicely done. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would, bear with me. I'd like to retire the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's dedication. Again, thank you to all of you for being here. Special thank you to the Disabled American Veterans Organization who come out. They always support us. To the media, thank you, Lawrence Cable Access, Univision, El Mundo, Valley Patriot, and Russ, you always out here with us. Thank you.